It's evolving all the time. You probably noticed in the early days when it first started, the Brazilians, because most of the fighters back in those days had never really fought barehanded. And even now you see some guys, they're still trying to punch with their heads up in the air and they're trying to be like inexperienced street fighters. They try to keep their head back and punch the other person at the same time. To get any real power in a punch, I need to have forward motion, be able to use correct body mechanics. I need to have my head down and forward and coming forward. I can't punch someone effectively if my head's going backwards. But it's evolved into very much a stand-up game now. And now you've got people that are black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that very rarely go to the ground themselves. You know, they stand up and bang. A lot of that started, as far as I know, I could be incorrect here, with Carlson Gracie, who insisted a lot of his people cross-train. So a lot of the early guys, Victor Belford and all those guys, were well stemmed in Western boxing to a high degree. There's guys that are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts that have represented Brazil in amateur boxing. So it has evolved, has sort of done a full circle back in the stand-up game. And now what's happening is, what brought some of the Brazilian undone was when some of the wrestlers first started fighting. Because the Brazilians would go to their back, and the wrestlers who don't want to be on their back because of the wrestling background would base and be hard to sweep. And because they had no submissions, ground and pound started. So they would just get there and think, oh, I might as well just punch this person. And that's where ground and pound originated, with the wrestlers that really didn't have any submissions. But now you've got guys that, you know, some of the big gyms, and it's happening even here in Australia. There's gyms here in Australia now where they've got a boxing coach, a Muay Thai coach, a wrestling coach and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. And you train under each coach. And that's what's happening in most of the big gyms in the US are that way. The wrestling coach teaches you all the shoots, the takedowns, the sprawls, as well as some wrestling. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coaches teach you you know, really solid boxing skills, as well as the Muay Thai. So even the Muay Thai has evolved a little bit too.